Welcome to TSX, the so-called Xperts, Brisbane's greatest podcast that relates to football. Well, and there's a few others around, and they're good too. Hey, Kevin Alderdice, but nonetheless, I'm Phil Davis from the Washing Alone with Rafe Griffin.
Hello. Can you tell me about what this Pokemon phenomenon is? I can't even get the bloody word out.
Well, you don't know.
Oh, I keep on seeing all these stories about,
Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
Oh, well, everyone knows what it is. You've got to get your thing and chase your Pokemon around the country.
Oh, sounds like
and
fun,
it's
doesn't it?
augmented reality, and so you can have Pokemon pop up behind your sofa.
I've seen on Facebook that it's roused some of the natives. There's been threatened egg bombings on people when people rush up to the corner.
Yep.
And, maybe people wander across the field this weekend in search of the Pokemon in the middle of a game.
Well, let's hope so. In the words of Councillor Heslop from Muriel's wedding, you can't stop progress. We, of course, don't talk about Pokemon as often as we should.
Not since the mid-90s.
I was never into Pokemon.
No,
I was too old, but, you know.
There's only Tetris on Game Boy. That's about all I could master.
Oh, no. I remember when Grand Theft Auto came out. The proper one, not the one with the bird's eye. Oh, my God. It was brilliant. But anyway, I don't play a lot of video games anymore. If I ever do, it's always FIFA. We're going to talk about football, though, aren't we? There's some interesting games on the weekend, some fantastic results for the state of the league. We have got, well, when you get around to talking about the table, not this one, we should name this table.
The small white table at the moment.
Well, I tried to get the Terry Hughes table back.
Did you?
Yeah, when they moved premises, but Juddy's showed lack of interest in everything in general. But, you know, we could have a new table.
Editor at footballbrisbane.com.au.
It's a very small table. It's very functional.
Look,
in fact, it's a good table.
There are plans to move a new table in here.
It's got a drawer.
But given it's now July...
We could call it the Jared Austin table.
It is rather small, yes.
Well, he's only a little bloke, but he's a good player.
He's a very good player.
Very, very good indeed. We might have a look at, we'll start off with the Peninsula last week, I believe.
Speaking of Jared Austin, the side he captains.
Yeah, they went down 4-0 to Capalaba, and all 4 goals were scored by Ahmed Santi Azawi, who surely must be one of the favourites for the gold medal.
Well, not only that, but runaway leader in the Golden Boot now, and gold medal favourite you'd have to suggest based on his efforts this year.
Yeah. Well, look, it's always been, a standout performer in a team that's not as good. And we can't say Capalaba haven't been good. They've been really good, but he's been a standout
player in a team that's not good. I don't know that Sean Carlos would like that description.
Well, look, back in my day, it happened all the time. With the greatest respect to David Parra, he won the gold medal when he was playing at South United, and he wasn't. There's been a few like that, let's just say. But it has changed over recent years because we had Carlos, Aochi, Fife, and they all deserved it. I think I forgot someone in there.
Well, Igor Say Jose won the year before at Ipswich Knights.
Igor Say Jose. The point is, Capalaba 4, Peninsula 0, and that brings Capalaba right back into the equation. You would have to suggest that it may have been different if Josh Ahern hadn't picked up that the red card for the second penalty challenge. By all reports, Capalaba deserved their victory and were very dominant, despite statistics suggesting that the game was fairly close. Now, what does that remind you of?
Oh, we'll come to that in a moment. But, look, I don't think anyone wouldn't have thought that Capalaba had a chance in this game, but to win 4-0 so comprehensively, I don't think people would have picked that scoreline going into that game. I think everyone would have thought it was much closer. So that's a great psychological advantage there for Capalaba as they are in the thick of that finals race at the moment.
The finals race is just spectacular. I'm loving it. The next game, Mitchelton 1, UQFC 0. Mitchelton managed to sneak past UQFC, who have been not too bad over the last 2 weeks, you have to say.
Two good results for UQFC. 1 goal losses to the top 2 sides, and Mitchelton missed a penalty in around about the 20th minute. and then scored the winner in the 89th minute.
Yeah,
Talk about leaving it late.
I'll talk about heartbreaking for UQ, you'd imagine.
Yeah.
They seem to have mastered a way of playing without possession. So, I mean, yeah, obviously you can play like that, can't you? I mean, that's what a lot of teams did in Euro 2016. Obviously, the French did it against Germany, Deutschland. So, Mitchelton will be thanking their lucky stars they got that, because those 2 extra points are what puts them in. It keeps them in second, I believe.
Yeah, and of course, Lions pretty much wrapped up. Position 1 we'll come to in a moment, but that vital double chance for second place in the final series.
Indeed. And, yeah, let's look at UQFC. We'll give people a bit to worry about when they head out to their out to wherever they play.
Of course,
they've got about 4 grounds they play at, haven't they?
Well, they're playing some of their home games at their competitors. I think one of those games is against Capella.
Oh, they're playing this weekend at Bob Rock Park, actually, their home game, which is a good game. Well, anyway, we'll get on to that. The next game of the round in round 17 was Holland Park Hawks 4, Logan Lightning 1. We expected this to be close, then it wasn't.
No, not in the end, but Holland Park, after, I don't know whether you'd call it a shock loss to Albany Creek, but perhaps a surprise in many circles.
Yep.
Bounced back to winning form after the week's break, and they're in third and on the hammer of Mitchelton. And, yeah, good signs from Whites Hill once again.
It's been, a bit of a trademark for them this year that they tend to lose games that you think they will win. But when they play well, they win convincingly, So Holland Park are in third place, and Logan Lightning, well, they've made a bit of a habit over ever since they've been in the BPL, the Flight Centre Premier League, ever since they've been in the top flight, they've made a habit of losing games they really need to win.
Yeah, look, I tipped them to finish top 4 last year. Of course, they went 6th, 5th. The logical progression was go to top 4 last year, and for various reasons, they didn't quite achieve that objective, and it looks like its last chance saloon this weekend, but we'll come back to that once again.
Yeah, look, I think that game will cost them a top 4 spot. Well, they were improving and they were looking good, and I think that's why people thought that game will be close, but it wasn't close. And they've got Lions this weekend. We'll talk about that in a minute, and they've got a tough run in. The next game was probably the most surprising in a lot of senses. Rochdale Rovers 0, Eastern Suburbs 3, and Eastern Suburbs were up 3-0 after 24 minutes, at which point the game was done and dusted.
Well, of course, that was the FBTV game over the weekend, and Rochdale, they had that goal. Oh, look, it looked like it was clearly onside, but had that goal pegged back by the referee, and I think both coaches admitted at the in the post-match interviews that Rochdale were perhaps the better side in that opening exchanges. Had they taken a 1-0 lead, could have been a completely different complexion to this match.
Yeah, it could have been, and Rochdale certainly were dominated statistics in the second half. Well, I wouldn't say dominated, but they were better. Eastern Suburbs obviously scored 3 goals, and that is what wins football games.
And more importantly, didn't concede any goals again. Yes,
a really good thing. Everyone is expecting East to make the top 4 now. Everyone I've talked to since then, well, both of my friends think that East are a shoo-in to make the top 4.
Yeah, I think so. They're in 5th, and we'll have a look at the table later on. Of course, still with a game in hand against UQFC. I don't think they're a shoo-in
to make the top 4.
You don't think so?
No.
I don't know. Well, they'll be in the thick of it.
Well, they're already in the thick of it.
Well, they are now, yes.
It's not
coming up
too
the table.
difficult to predict they're going to be in the thick of it, and they're already right in it.
Yeah, all right.
Next game, I was out at this one. Lions FC 4, Albany Creek 0, and Lions FC basically gave Albany Creek a bit of a lesson. Albany Creek set up with a very deep lying formation, which teams tend to do when they go out to Lions, and the big problem when you do that is you concede and then you're done.
Yeah, Albany Creek brought back to the earth with a thud, and that's their season done and dusted. Now they can start preparing for next season.
Ding, 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 ding.
6 points off
Tickets,
fourth
please.
with 5 games to play. That's too big a gap now, particularly with all those other teams fighting out. 2 goals in each half from memory?
2 goals in each half from memory. Let me think. Who scored the goals? Well, the first one was Brody Kenyon on the far post. He nearly ran into Yankovic. The second was Diaz when Jamande ran 60 metres and crossed it. And then Michael Butters in the second half with a turn, and put it past the keeper, and then free header. So yes, the answer is yes.
Oh, I couldn't remember that sort of stuff.
And look, I can't move on without mentioning the fact that I thought Lions were really good. You know, I mean, I know they're really good, but I thought they played really well.
You thought Albany Creek might upset them, though?
Yeah, well, I did.
You were wrong.
I was way wrong. I tell you, one thing that it's worth considering though is Albany Creek had some really good chances, but they just couldn't hit the target. They had more shots off target than Lions had, but you know, it doesn't really mean much when you keep hitting it into that netting behind the goal.
No.
Lions basically won the league now.
Yes.
We already knew that was going to happen. The next game was also interesting. North Pine 2, Ipswich Knights 5. But the most surprising thing out of this, I guess, was that North Pine were up 2-1 at half time, and Wayne Heath, bit of a cracker, I heard.
Yeah, North Pine unfortunately let another good lead slip at half time, and 4 goals in 13 minutes to Ipswich Knights just obliterated North Pine.
Yeah, and I think teams should keep their eye on Ipswich Knights because they have got a few of the big sides to play. Well, big sides. They've got a few of the teams that are right in contention, and I think that Ipswich Knights' season is not over yet. Something tells me.
Well, it's not over because they've still got 5 games to play.
Well, I've got a hunch. Well, you know, I've got a hunch that they're going to beat someone.
They're going to beat someone.
In the next 5 games.
That's a definitive statement.
All right. Well, in the next 5 games, they're going to beat somebody. It's going to be an upset, and they're going to beat somebody, and it's going to cost them a top 4.
Somebody high profile, hey?
Well, higher profile, yes.
Okay.
No, I just got it down. But North Pine, well, you know, they know that they're in trouble and, well, they're almost down. Yeah. Well, they are down, aren't they?
What did I work it out the other night?
We figured it out, didn't we?
It's 266 points left and a 254-point gap or something like that. So
yeah, well,
it looks like their fate will be confirmed this weekend.
Well, it could be confirmed by the time the Rezzies kick off, possibly.
Yeah, possibly.
But it's a big weekend for North Pine this weekend. We'll talk about that when we get back to the previews. Other stuff.
Let's go through the table for a start.
Oh, go through the table. You do that. I'll just sit here
you
all right.
Please yourself there for a while.
Okay.
So Lions on 43, 11-point.
Sorry.
You're right there?
Yeah.
11-point lead over Mitchelton. Then 3 points back to Holland Park. You're not going to distract me. Roadstall are in 4th. East with the bullet up into 5th, as I said.
A bullet?
Game in hand.
Yeah.
And that game in hand against UQFC, and as UQFC have proved in recent weeks, that's not going to be an easy game. But,
can we replay that in a couple of weeks when they play it? Please, you did it to me.
Yeah, we might do
All
that.
right.
But notionally, if they did win that game, East, they would be up into 3rd.
They would, indeed. And that's, yep.
Capella Bar also on 26, Peninsula on 26, Logan Lightning on 25, and then, as we said, the bottom 4 probably out of it now, Albany Creek 21, Ipswich Knights 18, UQFC 8, and North Pine 7 points.
They're probably out of it. I think 3 of them are mathematically out of it.
3 of them are mathematically out. Well, Ipswich Knights are still in. If you want to talk mathematics, but...
Well, I don't think I think they are actually out because the other
5 threes are 15, 15 and 18 is 33. Roachdale currently on 27.
Yeah, but you're not taking into account that the other teams have to play and there'll be points
I just
from
look
the
at
other game.
Straight mathematics.
Yeah, well, that's right. That's why you're a great commentator. All right, other things that happened. I went out to South United.
You did?
Wakeley Park.
Yes.
And tried to be as neutral as I possibly could.
Very difficult for you in that scenario.
Oh, very difficult. And it was a great game of football. It really was, a high-tempo game. I think that Bayside were marginally better, to be honest. Mm-hmm. Although South played some cracking stuff. You know, Sasha Radulovic is going to... I had a feeling he would fit in really well there. He's got a lot of players a lot of fast players.
Someone else said that to me as well over the weekend. Yeah. It would be a good setup and on that type of pitch.
Yeah, well, let's try that again. The pitch was bumpy as hell because they played on the main pitch.
On the main field, not on the synthetic field.
Yeah, but it's going to be good. But Bayside they hit the post. Theodore hit the post, and he's gone now. He's off to trial with someone. He's
a former Raw youth player.
Yeah, he's gone off to trial in England. Crew? Oh, no, that's Will Eaton's gone to Crew. Anyway, the point is that except for that send-off, which was really unfortunate for whoever it was, can't remember, but he got sent off, was it Brocklehurst? Anyway, let me get back to what I was thinking. Send-off, penalty.
I think you're right. You're right. That's what you said in your match report.
Yeah, Josh Anderson scored the penalty, but it was a header go straight at him. He couldn't do much about it. Hit him on the elbow, and Nathan McDonald didn't really have much choice. He had to send him off, and that had a big influence. But I suspect that Bayside, I don't know, it was a really good game of football. I think that both those sides are starting to reach their peak. South United have Michael Andrews back, and he has been a long time, excellent, probably close to their best player. And he's back from another injury, and he played a lot with his back to goal, which isn't his sort of his strength. But when you've been out for so long, you've got to get your fitness, and he loves that, going straight at players at a high pace. But crucial 3 points.
Absolutely, and just to show how close it was, of course, Wolves defeated Grange Thistle.
They
Wolves,
did.
Some big acquisitions.
Yeah.
And Grange Thistle have slipped from first to fourth after that.
Uh-huh.
But we could have the top 4 decided at the end of this weekend, but...
in theory.
In theory.
Yeah.
But
Bayside have to win this week.
positions will more than likely change within that top 4.
Yeah, that's the thing, because we're talking about it before the show, is that Wolves are looking red hot, and it's the teams they have to play are the ones that could be the ones that don't get promoted. Wolves could be the most important team in the competition.
Let's have a look at their run home. Moggle, North Star, Southside Eagles, Brisbane Knights and Centenary Stormers.
Yes.
So North Star and Southside Eagles.
Yeah, very important games. And, of course, they're first and second at the moment, I believe.
Yes.
And South's are third and Grange are fourth. So, look, it's really shaping up. We've been looking forward to this all season, for quite some time. I just hope it doesn't all fall apart. I hope we don't have 3 games to go and there's two teams already promoted.
That's right. Now, I think you might have dubbed this upset of the season in Capital 3.
Well,
They went to feather dusters AC Carina after beating Virginia, the league leaders, last week. And then got done by Ridge Hills, who notched up their first victory of the year, 1-0 over AC Carina.
well, who can say what happened there? I mean, we don't really have a report on it, but it surely is that they beat the unbeaten top team, and then the following week lost to the bottom team who hasn't won.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous, isn't it?
You wouldn't pick it, would you?
Well, you would have assumed after they beat Virginia that they were on a roll and they were definitely going to be in the top 4, but they're about 6th now, I think, or might even be lower, 7th, yeah. It's an interesting result. I'm sure Ridge Hill celebrated too.
Oh,
good. I love it when the bottom teams win.
Probably still celebrating on Sunday afternoon. But speaking of Virginia, of course, they won the top of the table clash, and they have the ascendancy over Toowong in the premiership race. But both those sides look like they'll be promoted anyway. Although
Virginia, of course.
Tarragindi just 4 points behind in Toowong,
Yeah, they're playing Toowong this week.
Yeah, so they wouldn't want to drop another one to Toowong.
But I believe Virginia have qualified for the semi-finals. I think you might find they're the only team so far that's...
If I do my maths...
Oh, no, hang on. Caboolture have qualified for the semi-finals too, I believe.
23 and 15 is 4... No, it's too difficult.
Yeah, it's too hard. We'll just if it's wrong, blame me. Yep. Another interesting result was Redcliffe PCYC. They came up with a 5-2 defeat of someone.
Sorry, 5-3 over New Farm.
New Farm.
Yeah. Down at New Farm Park on a Sunday afternoon.
Redcliffe PCYC could conceivably not get relegated.
Well, that is possible now.
Yeah, because the teams above them are not real good.
It's so tight because they're on 10 in last.
Yeah.
Slakes Creek on 12, Park Ridge 14, Pine Hills 15.
Slakes Creek won 4-0.
Yeah.
Beat Ipswich City.
It's just happening at both ends of the table in that league at the moment.
You can tell that I write the raps and the previews all the time. I know every result just about off the top of my head, which is good because I love the capital leagues.
Okay, give yourself a rap.
Well, I'm not saying that. It's just like a brain thing. It's... Well, I can't say, guess what? I can remember stuff, even though I'm 51. Had a hard life. That was it around the grounds. Is there anything else?
Looking at your face, I can tell you have.
Hey, good looking.
We had the Canali Cup draw, so those games to be played next week. And
they'll be on Wednesday and Thursday, I believe, won't they?
I think so. Yeah. Or Tuesday and Wednesday, probably.
Yeah, we'll probably talk about... Oh, really? Tuesday and Wednesday?
Yeah. Anyway, we've talked enough. Let's get on to this weekend.
Previews? Yeah, I'm looking forward to the previews because it's a great weekend of football again. Where you have nothing less than a great weekend of football in the Flight Centre. Premier League. First game of the round is the El Clasico.
Right.
The El Clasico, Tim Brown, thank you very much for coming up with that title many moons ago. Logan Lightning versus Lions FC at Cornubia Park, and it really is the last chance for Logan.
It really is, really.
Really is.
Really is.
Because if they lose this one, it's too hard to claw it back from here if they lose.
Well, what you're then dependent on is other results. You need other teams to drop
Well, they
games.
already are.
Well, yeah, they are, but to some extent, because they are only 2 points outside fourth, the destiny is sort of somewhat in their hands, but drop this one and... then they really do need to rely on other results because there'll only be 4 games remaining. Indeed,
and of course I would suggest by last weekend's result, where they got beat 4-1 by Holland Park, that they will struggle to beat Lions. I think anyone will struggle to beat Lions except for, Lions can win the title.
We'll come back to the mathematics of it in a moment, but I think that's a pretty big motivating factor for Lions this weekend.
I think so too.
That they could potentially wrap it up.
Oh yeah, especially the players who'll get rested.
Yes.
We won the title, you're going to get rested. No, I don't want to get rested. We're going to both tip Lions to win that, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Which is a good sign for Logan because I don't get much right these days. Although I did tip East to beat Roadstar. Next game, Albany Creek versus Capalaba. Crucial, vital, super duper interesting game for Capalaba. If Albany Creek play like they did against Lions, then Capalaba will definitely win.
If Capalaba play the way they did against Peninsula last week, they'll definitely win.
Well, that's right. Capalaba have been playing well. I think that the Bulldogs and their supporters and Jeff Herford and the whole team will be just glad they won last week because they look like they're going to win and they haven't got across the line, you know. But you would have to think exactly the same there. Capalaba will beat Albany Creek, although there's more doubt in that one, I think, than Lions versus Logan.
I'm feeling a draw. For some reason.
Feeling a draw?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well,
sorry to kill your buzz there.
No, that's all right. I'm going for Capalaba Bulldogs to beat Albany Creek at Sir Walter Park. Next one. Look, there's some crackers.
The big
there.
matches keep coming, don't they?
Oh, the big matches keep coming. Eastern Suburbs versus Holland Park Hawks. A month ago, you would have said Hawks will win it. No problem. They'll waltz down to Heath Park, break up the fragile Eastern Suburbs defence, and they'll come over with 3 points. But I think Eastern Suburbs may be favourites for this, simply on momentum.
Absolutely. Although, Holland Park, big win last week. Plenty of goals.
Yeah.
They'll have to contain, East defence will have to contain those Madley and McCaskill and Briggs.
Yes.
Ishimoto.
Yes.
This is a tough one. I think you're right. For basically on momentum, East to win that one.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm going to go for Holland Park to win that one.
It's the local derby now.
Oh, I guess it is, yeah. Think about that, really. I'm going to go for Holland Park to win that one because they seem to play better when they're in the more important games. That's why they lost to Albany Creek. That's my theory.
Okay.
They beat Lions, remember?
They did.
Do you remember?
Early
That
in the
seems like a lifetime ago.
It seemed like a long time ago, but I don't think the celebrations have died down anything after that.
No, I think that Holland Park are primed now, and I think that they'll finish the season out well. And look, it's going to be close. I wouldn't be surprised if the Tigers did take the points, but I'm going to tip Holland Park Hawks. What's the next game, Rafe?
Well, we've got this split of 3-3 on Saturday and Sunday again.
Yes, we have.
Now this one. Peninsula and Mitchelton.
Oh, my God, this is an absolutely vital game for the Power.
And is it Old Boys Day down at Peninsula this weekend, or am I too early?
It could be, yeah. Look, I think you're right. They play on the Sunday when they do the Old Boys game first, don't they?
Yeah, that's their last Sunday game of the year, so I think it might be.
Okay, so Peninsula Power versus Mitchelton. Peninsula got walloped last week by Capalaba. They will be missing Josh Ahern, of course.
How important is that?
Well, it was more important last week when they only had 10 players.
Yes.
But, look, I think they've got depth to... Oh, it's hard to say. You've got to... he's a fantastic player, and he's crucial for them. But
you still didn't give him man of the match the other week, though.
Oh, I gave him man of the match against Moggle.
I couldn't let that one slide.
I believe it was... I heard rumours he wasn't exactly the best player. But anyway... I think they have depth to cover for him. They've certainly got a couple of youngsters that came on against Roadstar that played quite well. But you would have to tip Mitchelton, wouldn't you? Because,
I just find Mitchelton
because they should have beaten UQ easily last week.
I just find Mitchelton...
They should have beat Capalaba easily.
This won't please you, Leo. I find Mitchelton a bit iffy, even though they're sitting in second place.
Well, they've already played UQ and North Pine, I believe.
Yeah.
So the teams that yet to play them have got to, they'll catch them. You would think.
Their run home, Peninsula, North Pine, Albany Creek, Roachdale and Logan for Mitchelton.
Oh, no, they've still got to play North Pine. So, yeah, okay, fair enough. I don't know. You would have to... Common sense says that Mitchelton should win this game. But Peninsula are obviously a really good team. They're just not playing up to their standard.
I don't know what happened last week to concede 4 goals. But anyway...
I think Hamid Azawi got a little bit more space than he's used to be honest.
I'm going to go Peninsula.
Yeah.
And the machinations of that is that if Lions win on Saturday night and Mitchelton don't win, Lions get the premiership.
Yes, they do,
Premiers
which means
elect.
that next week they will collect it at home.
Against Eastern Suburbs.
Yes. Which will be interesting. They could lose that one and get the trophy.
Yes.
You know.
Wouldn't be the first time.
No. Well, I'm going to tip the draw in that one. I think it's going to be really tight, and I suspect that Mitchelton will do a really good job of shutting up shop, and that could almost put Peninsula out of the equation. So if they do that, it's good for them. You know, it's not so important that Mitchelton win. They can get away with a draw in this one. You know, they've got more chances of points further down the track. Nonetheless, I'm going for a draw. I can justify as long as I want. Okay, the next game is Ipswich Knights versus Roachdale Rovers. That, of course, is also at 4 o'clock on... that's at 5:15.
How is it going to be at 5:15 on a Sunday afternoon at Ipswich?
It's going to be cold, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
It's going to be very cold. It's going to be very cold. Like, I mean, apart from being at Ipswich, I believe it's going to be cold on the weekend. Is this the one where Ipswich Knights can do what I said and jump up and take points off someone who's in the race? Because if Roachdale did drop 3 points, that would take them severely down the ladder. Well, they just lost 3 last week, didn't they?
Yeah, it's another... As we've said before, these trips out to Ipswich on a Sunday afternoon are never easy, particularly an extra hour.
Although they do keep losing, but anyway.
Yeah, but then... Yeah, I know. Look, Roachdale really need... John Carlos Solozano to fire. He hasn't really fired yet, has he?
No, he hasn't.
And, with an A-League striker, a former A-League striker, you really need him to fire, and he just hasn't fired yet. Maybe this is the game when it all comes together. But, look, Roachdale, on paper, certainly favourites, but I'll go Roachdale, but I'm not 100% confident, to be honest.
No, I'm not confident, but I'll go with Roachdale as well. Is Todd Garble currently be lying in bed going, what did I do last week?
He got a bit tired towards the end there, didn't he?
You're going to do it again next week, Todd. Great player, great guy, and good on him for stepping up for his mate Macca when he needed him. I'm going to tip Roachdale as well. And the final game of the weekend is really interesting.
It's the Cellar Dwellers.
It's the Battle of the Wooden Spoon.
Don't let that fool you. Mm-hmm. It's UQFC playing a home game at North Pine against North Pine.
Yes, and the home ground advantage is probably not what it should be. But you'd have to imagine that both teams will have been looking forward to this. And they'll be looking forward to it all week because, it's so mentally debilitating to have to go into every game and try to tactically take on a team that you're expected to lose to. I mean, you've got to stay positive, of course, and they've got some good players. Both sides have got some good players, but this one, they think, they can win it. And North Pine won the last one, beat UQ last time 2-1, I think. So this should be a good game, and pride is on the line because whoever loses will almost certainly finish last. Yes,
yeah. Well, look, in recent form, you'd have to go UQFC, those 2 good results against Mitchelton and Lions. North Pine just can't afford to fall asleep like they did last week against Ipswich Knights.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, so you're going to go for UQ?
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to go for North Pine to win because I think that they have it in bursts, but they don't have it for 90 minutes, but they don't need it for 90 against UQ. And UQ have been, they're just statistically getting a bit of a hammering, even though they've been playing reasonably well. So I'm going to go for North Pine because they're playing away at home.
Okay. home and away.
So those are the games coming up this weekend. Do we have anything else that's interesting? There are plenty of interesting games coming up in the capital weeks, but I don't think we've got time to run through that because we've been dragging a bit this week. So Canala Cup's coming up. FFA Cup's coming up. Is that next week?
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
There's lots of happenings. I'm Phil, neutral Davis.
Yeah, sure, you're neutral.
I'm neutral completely, except for when I watch South, so I can't help myself.
I am the true neutral Rafe Griffin.